To increase your confidence and ability to communicate at a higher level takes practice and a larger and more complex vocabulary of advanced words that have great meaning and can be fun to learn and use. By learning how to use just 3 new words each week, along with their definitions, proper usage, synonyms, antonyms, and variations, will help you improve your correct use of each of them. To easily remember how to use those new words well into the future takes practice, so make sure to use them in conversation as soon and as often as possible. This week's words are atrocious, compliant, and ubiquitous. Also, make sure to watch until the end of this video for another unique, crazy, and original fun tongue twister American English practice sentence with words that start with the letter D. The first word you can learn how to use this week is atrocious. 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 A basic definition of atrocious is something that is bad, unpleasant, wicked, evil, or violent to the senses. Atrocious can also be used to describe something that is very poor in quality or just wrong and offensive. Examples of atrocious as an adjective when used in a sentence sounds like this. The weather can be atrocious at this time of year. Many years ago, the network news rarely showed the atrocious acts of violence that are now so common to see online within moments of the occurrence, or even live as it's happening. There was an atrocious odor in the air from the dead fish washing up on the beach. There are many synonyms or similar words for atrocious. Some of these synonyms are nasty, cruel, appalling, inhuman, brutal, and heinous. There are also many antonyms or opposites for atrocious. Some of these antonyms are kind, compassionate, admirable, cultured, gentle, and peachy. Other word forms from atrocious are atrociously and atrocity. When atrocity, a noun, is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. The widespread atrocity caused by the hurricane left thousands of people without power for weeks. Nearly everyone agrees that the atrocity could have been prevented if the rhetoric of the news media was used for building relationships instead of destroying them. When atrociously an adverb is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. The highly anticipated movie atrociously violated the fans' expectations by not following the storyline from the book series. For behaving atrociously at the wedding, the children were scolded and made to apologize to the newlyweds for throwing dirt at them instead of rice and confetti. The second word to learn to use this week is compliant. 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 A basic definition of compliant is when there is a willingness to comply, yield, bend, or be submissive by agreeing with other people or to just follow guidelines, rules, and/or laws set in place. Examples of compliant as an adjective when used in a sentence sounds like this. Chemical manufacturers that do not stay compliant with the rules and regulations established to protect their workers will be penalized by federal, state, and local agencies. The act of being compliant can be interpreted as being weak or respectful depending on the situation. To be compliant with local building codes can raise the cost of building, but it is necessary to prevent the structure from collapsing due to the use of inferior building materials. There are many synonyms or similar words for compliant. Some of these synonyms are obedient, cooperative, docile, passive, submissive, and acquiescent. There are also many antonyms or opposites for compliant. Some of these antonyms are defiant, disobedient, stubborn, obstinate, uncooperative, and rebellious. Other word forms from compliant are comply and compliance. When compliance, a noun, is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. The building was constructed and found to be in compliance with the strict building regulations established to protect people from severe weather that's common along the coast. To be in compliance with the law can be confusing and difficult without legal interpretation and guidance. When comply, a verb, is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. Students who refuse to comply with the school's code of conduct will be disciplined accordingly. Fear can easily motivate people to comply with mandates, whether they make sense or not. The third word you can learn to use this week is ubiquitous. 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 A basic definition of ubiquitous is when something is in more than one location at the same time or is widespread and everywhere at once. Examples of ubiquitous as an adjective when used in a sentence sounds like this. The ubiquitous presence of Wi-Fi is so common that it's hard to understand why it doesn't work in some areas. In warmer weather, the ubiquitous growth of molds can be a serious problem for people who have allergies. The use of cell phones has become ubiquitous around the world. There are many synonyms or similar words for ubiquitous. Some of these synonyms are universal, prevalent, widespread, pervasive, extensive, and omnipresent. There are also many antonyms or opposites for ubiquitous. Some of these antonyms are rare, random, scarce, periodic, sporadic, and atypical. Other word forms from ubiquitous are ubiquitously and ubiquity. When ubiquity, a noun, is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. The ubiquity of certain forms of social media can cause anxiety and depression. It can be difficult to calculate the ubiquity of the universe. When ubiquitously, an adverb, is used in a sentence, it sounds like this. The immense thunderstorm was so severe that the ubiquitously crashing of the thunder was so close together that it was almost one constant sound. Mold and mildew are likely to occur ubiquitously in moist, dark environments. To combine all three words, atrocious, compliant, and ubiquitous, into one sentence sounds like this. By demanding that the ubiquitous acceptance of a rhetorical talking point that creates fear and paranoia be taken seriously is an atrocious way to persuade people to be compliant. To improve on your correct use of any new words and make them a permanent part of your normal speech, make sure to use them in conversation as soon and as often as possible. Here's this week's unique, fun, and original tongue twister that will help improve pronunciation, articulation, and fluency in your speech. Deliberately depleting, divided, decommissioned, damaged, daddy ducks, down, did, do, dumb, disturbing, destabilizing demonstrations, deftly decontaminating daily dares. Have a dandy good time with that one. And remember that my determined goal is that your devoted success is the dauntless goal. I'll see you online soon.